Dylan, you said you were talking a lot this episode. You're going to talk even more here, man. Everton 0, Wolves 1. I need to just snip the Wolves podcast we did with Alex and have him put the name of the guy who scored here because it sounded like he knew exactly what he was doing, and I do not. So I'm going to say Kalajic. Kalajic?
It's Kalajic. Yeah, Kalajic.
Kalajic. Love it. The big man in the 87th minute gives Wolves, in all honesty, I know it's week 3, but gives Wolves a pivotal 3 points.
I love you just call him the big man. The name, you're just like, he's just the big man.
The big man. Don't say 6'9", 6'10". What else do you
He
want
might
to
be
say?
6'7", but I'm going to say 6'10".
Hey. This is huge. This is a huge game. I got to hear what it was like for you watching it. Do you actually think this was as important as we're making it seem? And are you and Hank still friends?
This was the most important week 3 game I've ever watched. I'm just saying. I don't know if you both actually watched the game or not. I think I said this to you guys. It was a drunk MLS game for a hot second. In terms of the fact that there was, I don't know how to describe it. Like, neither team could figure out how to actually control the game and control possession. It was just one team kind of moving up the field and then turning it over and then just going the other way and then going nowhere near the net. And then, like, I don't know. Ultimately, I have the good and the bad is we put the ball in the net again. Like, I think I'm going to start doing a Fabio Silva fake goals counter. We're at 2 so far for the year. In terms of him just being like, he's just right there and he keeps being offsides. Has a great finish. And then he gets one-on-one with the goaltender again and doesn't know what to do with it and kicks it right at Pickford. Like, it's, I don't know. I promise he needs to keep playing too to get better. But it was I don't know. It was the best win ever at this point. We look good in red. You touched on it. Sa kept us in that game. There's one where I think even Michael texted at this point when he finally saw it. He completely saved the game of, I think he made like 3 saves in a row, and then all of a sudden the ball was like going in the net, and at the last second just tapped it right over the crossbar. Like, I don't know. That was just some ridiculous athleticism there. And then it's crazy that we have all these wingers that love to cross the ball, and we've never had someone who's like a pure striker who can actually head the ball into the net. And now we do, at least to this point. However, I'm calling him by his first name. Sasha, as great as it was that we scored, and I'm happy for him, he's having a kid, all of that type of stuff, is, I don't know if you watched the next 5 minutes he was in the game, he's kind of a liability too. He's so slow. Like, it's great for what happened, but there was a point where we could have gone on the counter and put the game away, like, and not even have to worry about it. He got the ball like right in midfield, could have turned and kept going or pass it wide, got caught within 2 steps and just had to turn back around because he just didn't have the speed. So, like, it's where I understand. I don't think people are going to call for it. I don't think he can start. I think his job is exactly what it is. He needs to come in and come in the 70th, 80th, come in the 70th, 80th minute when we need a goal and go from there.
I think you even said it. He is the type of striker, you alluded to it earlier, but you said it in our preview pod, like, he is the type of striker that if you had Adama, was perfect for having Adama. Because, if he can hold it up in the midfield and you're just telling Adama, hey, straight line sprint, and, like, we'll play a through ball to you, or we're crossing it in, like, that is what you want, and now not really what you have anymore.
No. Well, Neto crosses it all the time, and he's kind of errant too, to be honest. But yeah, we're probably a season too late. But you know what? A goal's goal wins a win because, in my opinion too, Everton actually dominated us in that game, which also scares me for how bad we are. Because, like, it sucks. Hank and I spoke today, He was on a bachelor party, so he had a pretty bad Saturday because he was already hungover, watched that game, then had to go drink for another 9 hours. But it's something where we've talked about this at length. Everton has, to me, actually not looked bad this year from an attacking standpoint. They just don't have a striker at all either. And the longer that they don't have that, I don't think they can score as well, and that's going to be their biggest issue. We'll just keep saying that.
I will mention that 4-0 and 1-0, like, I don't know how good they've looked, but there are times in this game, I even said in the chat, I was like,
forget the Aston Villa game. Against Fulham and us, I thought they looked well. So against competition, they should beat to stay up.
Yeah, I do think I was watching. I didn't get to watch the entirety of the game, but the parts I watched, Everton just had nothing going forward for me, and I'm looking at the statistics, and it tells me the story that you're telling me. So maybe I got to go back and take a look again. But I might have been paying attention at the times where you guys were really surging. Michael, you've been calling for this execution for 3 years now. Is it finally the year?
So the only thing I'll say on that, which I'm going to let my final table speak for itself in that regard. But, when you have somebody who can put the ball in the back of the net when given the smallest opportunity, you can get away with like a expected goal of like 1.2 because like you're going to get maybe 2 goals from that. When as much as I love stats and everything, the game is not how many expected goals did you have versus my expected goals. They don't have anyone who can score. So they can get all these opportunities, they can get all these chances and whatever, but if they don't have somebody who can put it in the back of the net, the 2.5 expected goals against Fulham doesn't mean anything until they score. And that's kind of what Dylan was saying, just they need somebody who can put it in the back of the net. That's probably Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But again, I understand he got rocked the game before against Villa. He gets injured a lot, and part of me is kind of like, I don't think he wants to even play. Like, I think when an injury comes on, he's kind of like, all right, cool, I get to chill again. Like, people aren't going to blame me. And then comes back and maybe scores a goal or two, and then he gets hurt again. And I'm not saying he's, like, not actually getting hurt, but I think it's kind of like a weight off his shoulders when he does.
I mean, I think that you're opening up an interesting point because the last thing I was going to say about this game was if you take a look at the group of players that are injured for Everton, it is a who's who of people you forgot even played in the Premier League. You got a Seamus Coleman. Jack Harrison, I totally forgot that he just transferred over this season. He's on the bench. Dwight McNeil. DCL, as we just said. Delhi is still technically under contract with them, too. Iwobi, who had a great season last year, so he's definitely a huge miss for them. And then this name, I'm going to say, I know Michael is going to have some thoughts. Andre Gomes. Just totally forgot that he was still rostered by Everton, and he's injured as well.